Okay, now we're going to calculate a bunch of things. We're going to calculate the mean, the standard deviation, um, the median, also the interquartile range, and the mode for this data set, which contains 100 weights, 100 weights from 100 male students from this past semester. So we're going to calculate all of these values using Excel. So the first thing I want to do is I want to calculate the mean. So I'm going to put the mean in this cell right here, cell E3, and I'm going to come up here to the insert function button, and I'm going to press that one. And the mean, you can actually go down and scroll here to statistical functions, and the mean is the second statistical function, the average. So you can click on that and click OK, and it'll ask you where your data set is. So you click this button here and you're going to highlight your data set. You can either highlight the raw data or the order statistics. These are the order statistics I have here. And I highlight all of those. And once I have those highlighted, I click up here to take me back to this screen here, the function argument screen. And then I click OK. When I click OK, it puts the mean of my data set in cell E3 right here. So the mean of this data set is 173.8. Now, moving on. The standard deviation, I'm going to do pretty much the same thing. For the standard deviation, I'm going to come up here. I'm going to click the function button. I'm putting the standard deviation in cell E4. So I've highlighted cell E4 and I press the function insert key. And then I click statistical functions and I'm going to scroll down until I see the standard deviation. And then you scroll all the way down to the S's and you see standard deviation, standard div P and standard div S. The one that we want is standard deviation S, which it estimates the standard deviation based on a sample. All right, so we're going to click standard deviation S and we're going to click OK. And it's going to ask us where our data is. Once again, we click this and we highlight all of our data. And then we click OK, and I see that the standard deviation is around 28. So 28. All right, so now I have my mean and standard deviation. Now I'm going to calculate the median. So I highlight cell E5 here, and I click f of x function insert, and I'm going to scroll down to the m's until I get to median. And here I click this and it returns the median number or the middle of a given set of numbers. So I click OK and it's going to ask me where my data set is. And my data set is from E3, E3 to E4. That's not true, so I click here and I highlight all of these, B2 to B101. And then it has the correct range for the data, so I click OK, and it tells me that the median is 175.5, 175.5. All right, now we'll calculate the interquartile range. Now, the interquartile range is a bit tricky. There's no function that directly gives us the interquartile range, so what we have to do is we have to use the function called percentile.inc, which returns the kth percentile of a given data set. So what we're going to do, the IQR is the third quartile minus the first quartile. So the third quartile is the 75th percentile, and the first quartile is the 25th percentile. So what we're going to do in this cell here, E6, is we're going to actually find those two numbers and subtract them. So we're going to press the function button, function insert, and then we're going to scroll all the way down until we see percentile, and that's down in the P's. And right here we have percentile.inc, this function right here, percentile.inc, and this one returns the kth percentile of values in a range. So what we want is we're going to take the 75th percentile and we're going to subtract from it the 25th percentile. So we click OK, and it's asking me for the array. Basically, it's asking me where my data is. So I'm going to show it my data by highlighting the data set over here, and I highlight the order statistics there. And then it's asking me for the number k. Well, I'm looking for the 75th percentile. And the 75th percentile, for the 75th percentile, k would be 0.75. So I have 0.75, and I click OK. And that returns me the value of the uh, 75th percentile. What I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract from that the value, oops, G6, not G6. I'm going to take that and subtract from it the value of the first quartile. So in this box, beside it, I want to put the first quartile, and that is going to be the percentile INC. I'm going to put the data ranges, so I go back to percentile, percentile.inc, and click OK, and tell it what the range is for my data set. My data is over here. And now I'm going to find the 25th percentile, which is also called the uh, first quartile, so 0.25, and I click OK. So I have now the value of the third quartile and the value of the second quartile, or the first quartile. So what I'm going to do to find the interquartile range is I'm going to subtract those two values. So that means I'm going to take this cell right here, G6 is going to be my IQR, my interquartile range, is going to equal the value in E6, which is 192.5. I'm going to subtract from that 152.75, the value in F6, press enter. So my interquartile range is 39.75. So I found my interquartile range. The last value that I need to find here is my mode. The mode, to find the mode, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click the insert function button, and I'm going to go down, scroll all the way down till I find mode. And let's see. And here I have mode single returns the most frequently occurring or repetitive value in an array of arranged data. And I have the mode multiple, which returns a vertical array of the most frequently occurring or repetitive values in an array. If you have a data set that you think might be multimodal, you might want to use mode mult. So let's go ahead and use mode mult here. And we go down and we select all our data values, and we click OK, and it returns the mode to be 178. So the most frequently occurring value is 178.